Hey. Okay, so I'm a few minutes late, but I'm here. Sorry. Okay. You know what I don't have? I don't have my light pulled up. So today we are not going to be painting per se. We may paint. I don't know. We may paint, but we are for sure going to be crafting today. This is a project that I've had all the supplies for a while. Where am I? Where's my life? Hold on. If I can't find it, y'all can't find it. Stand by. There I am. Okay. There we go. Sorry. My bad. All right. So I've had this fabric. Sorry. Hey, you're on live, so keep it short and keep it clean.
All right. Hey, I apologize. I'll holler back at you.
Okay. Is it important? Oh, wait. Is it? Okay, bye. Sorry. That is my life. Okay. I've literally taken 1, 2, 3. That's my 4th phone call this morning. And it's only 10. Okay. Hey, Miss Pam. Okay. So I've had this fabric in my stash for a while now. I bought it for a very specific reason and I never did it. And so we're going to do it today. I kind of bullied myself into it this morning because I need, when you just need a win. I was like, I need a win. I need I finished a project kind of win. And so in my paint studio where we paint a door hanger, a garland, and a porch leaner attachment every month, we also do a little extra fun crafty craft that sometimes correlates with the theme. Sometimes it's just for fun. It's just funsies. And this month we played with some fabric. We made a beehive. Our theme was bees this month. And so we made a beehive out of some fabric. We made a little mini pillow. Well, we had options for fabric and this was one of the fabrics and it didn't get picked. So I was like, you know what? It's time to shine. So let's go ahead. What I want to do is I want to cover my Bible with it. That's what I bought it for, but I don't necessarily want to sew. I'm not that committed to it. So like that's where my level's at. So if you want to hang out with me while I cover my Bible, kind of old school style, that's what we're doing today. I've already made a template. Can we go back to our high school days where we took all our textbooks? Now, if you're Gen Z, you don't know what that's like, okay? We had backpacks that were more than decoration, okay? Our backpacks, literally, we had to hold them like this because they carried 4 to 7 books in them at any given time, depending on what kind of school we went to. So we're going to be covering our Bible. Now, it doesn't have to be a Bible. You can totally do this with any book. Like if you're an avid reader and you just want to have a book cover, you just adjust it to the size of the book that you're wanting to cover. So I've got my own this is my personal Bible. I've made tassels. I put artwork in there. I have, the way I take notes is on scrapbook paper. It's very colorful in my Bible. So I've already made an old school textbook template that all I have to do is just slide the cover in to one and then take the other cover and it can be covered this way. Now I could have just left it like that, okay? And I could paint on it and when it gets raggedy, I can just make a new one. That's what I used to do for all of my textbooks, all my notebooks. I sometimes make them for books that I don't necessarily want people seeing what I'm reading. I had covered over 100 notebooks for photo albums with fabric back in the day. Now, I bet you yours was done properly, Miss Pam. I bet you yours was like sewn. Mine is not gonna be sewn. We gonna glue it on there. So look how beautiful this fabric. I love this style of a floral. If you can't tell, this is a vintage sheet here. This is just from Hobby Lobby. I think it's either Hobby Lobby or Michael's. I bought it on a whim. I knew exactly what I wanted to do with it. Hey, Miss Lynn, but I just have never done it. So I'm going to go ahead and take my cover back off my Bible. Okay. Take my cover back off so that is just craft paper. You can use an old paper grocery sack. I use just craft paper, a roll of craft paper from the Dollar Tree. Where can I set you? I don't like putting my Bible on the ground. Okay, there we go. So I'm gonna just take this, my fabric, and some scissors. Or as I've always called them, some skizzers. It's some skizzers. So we're gonna take those. No, so all glue. Ooh. I don't want to know how you did yours. So we are going to, I'm gonna take my template. Okay, so I know it has to be at least this big, okay? Put y'all where y'all can see it just a little bit better. I know it has to be at least this big, okay? I'm gonna give myself some seam allowance. I also want to cover this, okay? So I'm gonna make sure that I cut that much. And let me look at my pattern. Okay, it's not like this where there's stripes of flowers. This is a good collage of flowers. Okay, so I'm going to cut. I want a little extra on the top, a little extra on the bottom. And I definitely want some extra. So I'm gonna cut, maybe I should go this way because I know I can rip it this way. If you're in the paint studio, then you know exactly what I'm about to do because I'm not about to cut. Okay, I'm gonna make it a little notch and I'm gonna go. And then I'm gonna put my my scrap fabric over here, and it's gonna go back in my scrap fabric pile, and I'll use it for something else later. But this is about all the fabric that I'm gonna need, okay? A fat quarter is great. So if you've got fat quarters in your stash, I'm not gonna need this entire thing. So I'm going to go here. And then we're just kind of winging this. Like I said, I bought this fabric. I wanted to cover my Bible in it. I don't necessarily want to alter the cover of my actual Bible. So I am going to just make a temporary cover. And like I said, if this gets nitty gritty, needs to be replaced, I'm not gonna be heartbroken over it because it was literally just scraps. Okay, so we are going to take, there we go, get my ruler, and I'm just gonna eyeball this. Like I said, it's not gonna be perfect. What I don't wanna do is what I just did and cut into my actual paper. There we go. Now, all I'm going to do is Mod Podge this onto the cover. I'm going to start on this flap, okay, and work myself around very carefully until I get to this flap. I do have this additional fabric on this side and the additional fabric on this side. I don't know if I want to fold this over this way yet or if I want to do that first. I want this to be completely open so that I can just slide my Bible cover in there. So, if you're hopping on, say good morning. Let me know that you're here. We're just crafting today. Normally we're painting. But I am in the process of wanting to just knock out some old projects that have just been sitting around, and this is one of them. And I'm always of the mindset, if I can do it by myself, I can also do it with my friends, but my friends can't always come sit at my kitchen table with me. So I brought you to my kitchen table with me. So we're just having some crafty time. So what are y'all up to today? Who's working? Who's working? Who's piddling around the house? Okay, so I've got that flipped up. Just kind of eyeballing this. Nothing's going to be super technical. Now, if I was working with paper, like actually covering an actual textbook back in the day, back in my heyday, I would make little notches right here and then flip this over. But I don't want to do that because I want my actual paper to be what, let's see, I think I'm gonna do this. We live and we learn. Like I said, when and if this needs to be replaced, because when I was in high school, my book covers always needed to be replaced. Like about mid, what is that, semester, it would need to be replaced. So I'm just gonna cut that to where my Bible can just slip in there. And then all I'm gonna do I'm just gonna trim a roo. Okay. Storming like, oh, that means it's headed my way, Miss Pam. So Miss Pam lives, weather-wise, she lives just before me. So when bad weather hits Miss Pam, I have about an hour, depending on how slow that storm is moving, I have about an hour, maybe 2, to kind of go clean up my yard. That when Miss Pam says it's storming, I'm like, let me go clean up my yard. Make sure I don't have flying projectiles that have been left out. Because Raylan loves to go and leave just like the garden spade just out in the middle of the yard for it to just fly away. Oh God, my nose itches. Okay, so there we go. We've got that. I am going to cut this one. Those are not the sharpest scissors. They're not fabric worthy. Any crafter knows. Even if you're not a quilter, any crafter knows. You always have like a fabric set of scissors. Well, Raylan does not know boundaries when it comes to scissors. She is obsessed with scissors. And she uses them all. If I can't find scissors, I know exactly where they are. There's a stockpile in her room. Thank the Lord she has not cut her hair yet. Okay, let's see. You better show me that girl. Look at that. It's got alligator and it's got it's got a pontoon boat. No, that's a fan boat. It's got a Mardi Gras. Float. It's got tree. It's got pelican. Where's my casino boat? There's a casino boat on here too. Oh, there it is. It's way up there where I've been sipping. There's my casino boat. Let's see. There's my bayou. See the people just canoeing down the bayou. I love to collect the Starbucks Louisiana cups. I don't know if they come out every year. I've only got like 2 or 3 of them. But Starbucks does it's the only fancy mug I buy. And I don't buy them all. But when I like the Louisiana mug that they put out, I'll buy it. Oh, students are testing. I guess I'll be here in a day or 2. Oh, I guess the store, it'll get there. Ours isn't going to start according to the weather. It rained last night and the weather said there wasn't supposed to be rain, but there was rain. All right, so let's get to gluing. I'm going to use, okay, so I went back and forth. I've got a couple of options, okay? I've got Fabrifix. I really like this. It's just really thick. It's not the best for spreading around. When I want to glue fabric together, especially to itself, I use this, okay? So there's this, there's another, it's the exact same brand. There's another formula of it. I like it too, but I love that. It's permanent. I've got some Mod Podge, the crafting holy grail right there. And then I've got matte varnish. So just because of the amount I have so much of this. I just bought a whole new bottle of it. I think I'm going to varnish it down to the paper. In my brain, I feel like this is gonna work. Now, in my brain, I think the best bet is Mod Podge. And this too is matte as well. I'm going matte. I don't want glossy. The reason I don't want glossy is because I don't want anything to stick to it. Glossy can get kind of tacky, sticky, and my Bible is paper. Books are paper, right? So I don't want any paper inside to stick to any of it. So I'm going matte for sure. Hey, Becca Boo. So I am definitely going the matte route. Okay, so what I'm going to do, so I've already cut these little flaps right here, right? So this in the middle of the book, I cut the majority up. Apparently I did not cut all the way on this one. Okay, they're not perfect. If anybody grabs my Bible and says, none of your scissor lines are straight, I'm like, get out my Bible. I rebuke you. Absolutely not. Take that negativity somewhere else. It is not welcome here. So if anybody's looking at, if you end up making one of these, like I said, I'm just making this for funsies because I had the fabric in my stash and it has been something I've wanted to do. And there's some different techniques I've been wanting to test out. Let's just play. Let's just play. Worst thing that can happen is I mess up a piece of fabric. Guess what? I've got plenty left. I'm not doing this on my actual Bible. This is a piece of paper that I've made a book cover out of. We're not going to mess nothing up over here. Let's use this brush. I just need a flat brush. I just don't know if this sealer is going to seep into... Now, what I will end up doing, though, I feel like I am going to seal it with the sealer at the very end. For sure, just to protect it. Just to give it a little layer of protection. Go away, Post-it note. Go away, Post-it note. Now, I have, like I said, I'm very creative with my Bible. I write in it. Okay, I do have a question. When it comes to reading, in general, it doesn't have to be your Bible or anything else, specific like that. But if you want to offer that up too, are you a note taker in the book, or are you I just read and I absorb as much as I read and then leave it at that? I am a note taker. I haven't always been a note taker. I've always been a note taker, but I haven't always been a direct in the book note taker. But lately, over the last couple of years, I have been. I've gotten over my fear of messing it up. Like, that was the reason I never wanted to do it, because I was like, oh, what? It's so pretty and clean and pristine. I don't want to mess it up. I'm even big on taking notes inside of actual books, like especially like my devotionals. There's one that I've read, and I swear I've recommended it to everybody. It changed my perspective of Psalm 23. It changed my perspective of myself. It changed my perspective with my relationship with God. It changed so much. And it's a book that I had for a few years, and just would start chapter 1 and something would just get in the way. Y'all see how technical I'm getting. I'm literally just pouring the sealer on here, right? And it's sticking. So I'm saturating this, okay? I'm real worried about the paper. I'm real worried about it oversaturating the paper, but that's fine. It's going to be fine. It's paper. It's scrap fabric. It would have been thrown away or donated. Eventually, I'm not worried about it. Okay. I'm going to blow dry that before we go any further. I want to see what this sealer does. So now I do, and that poor devotional. It's called Don't Give the Enemy a Seat at Your Table by Louis Giglio. I'll put a screenshot in my stories later on. Because I'm pretty sure I'm butchering the name of that. Okay, the sealer it's sticking, but it's not doing what I want it to. It's not doing what I want it to. So we're gonna switch gears. We're gonna go Mod Podge. Sealer, I gave you a chance. This is phenomenal, but it's so thick. I don't feel like I'd be able to spread it. I would have to thin it out, and I don't know what it would do if I had to thin it out like that. So, okay, we're going to go Mod Podge route. It dries clear. Do not worry about it going on white. It dries clear. Okay. So we're just going to Mod Podge this on here. I'm just making sure I get every inch. I am going to take a piece of craft paper just to lay underneath so I don't get any of this on my actual workspace. I think what I'm going to do for the next section of this is I'm going to put the sealer underneath the fabric and adhere it to the actual craft paper. Okay, so Miss Pat says, is that Miss Pat? It says Pat and Ben. I'm assuming Miss Pat. Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Says that it will stick. Just let it dry. I did have hope that it was going to stick. I do trust that it will stick, but it's trusty, a Mod Podge. My fear was I don't think I had enough. All right, so I'm just going to, come on. We're just smearing the mess out of this on here. So we got to work fast with Mod Podge because it does dry fast. Like I said, if this doesn't work, if this, we're not messing anything up. Now what I think I will do is I will do like the stick to the paper with the Mod Podge. If I end up not having enough to go around to stick it to the paper and then turn around and seal it with the Mod Podge, I will turn around and seal the outside of our cover with the sealer. I love that sealer. And I have used it to be an adhesive before. Just not on this kind of project. All right. In the Bible, a note taker. So Miss Pam says in her Bible, she's a note taker. She's like, I write on those pages. So over the last couple of years with this Bible, this is a newer Bible. That is a newer book to me. I decided with this particular, stand by. Okay, that's okay. That I would attempt to write more in it than what I have done in the past. All right, I'm picking this up. I am going to lay it underneath, and I'm just going to smooth everything out. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just going to smooth everything out of everything that I just glued down. Now, if you have tools that burnish things down, like push, glue, and stuff, like a Cricut tool, there's a Cricut tool that does it. See that there's extra fabric up there. I want to pull this up and make that tight. This is so messy. I love it. Don't you just love getting your hands dirty? I'm a note taker, like even in physical books. And I have to be very careful sometimes because I'm like, wait a minute, I'm a book donator too. Like I like to donate my books when I'm done with them. If I write in it though, I don't donate it. I don't donate it. That is a strict rule I have for myself, especially if it's like a devotional. Because that's, you know, it's just such it's so private. It's like donating one of your journals. But you don't necessarily want to do that. So I don't donate anything that's been written in. But in the event that I'm like, I don't know if this is a book that I want to keep forever and ever, amen, kind of, you know, I will show you what I normally do. I'll show you what I normally do. Like if I want to take physical notes, but I don't want it to be in like a notebook, I want it to be with the page of that inspired me to write that note, because that's the kind of note taker I am. All right, here we go. All right, so far this is what we have, okay? So craft paper underneath. We made a template of a book cover, all right? The sealer is still really wet. That's where we did the sealer. We're doing Mod Podge on the rest of it. The sealer was changing the color of the fabric. So, and the Mod Podge is drying way faster. So, kind of a fan of the Mod Podge. I really like the sealer though, because I'm gonna tell you right now, that right there, that's gonna be stuck. It's not coming up. I will vouch for it on that. All right, so now let's put a little layer of Mod Podge there. If you're wondering what we're doing, we're just hanging out and crafting. This is something that I've been needing to do for a while. Had the supplies. Have just avoided actually finishing the project like most crafters do, you know. We all do it. We're all guilty of that. And we're just chatting. So this is, I'm making a custom book cover. Now this one is specifically for my Bible, and I'm just piddling. I'm just playing. Just seeing what works. I know myself. I'm going to eventually want to make another one. So I'm not living in the fact that this is going to be permanent. This was scrap fabric anyways. Okay. It's going to get dirty. It's going to get hand oils on it. It's, you know, it's going to need some TLC. All right, I'm going to cut just a little bit there. I made a template old school style like we would have with our textbooks back in the day. I'm trying to get ready for a paint party I'm hosting in my home Saturday, but I'll keep getting distracted finding things in my craft room that I forgot about. Don't you hate that? It's like a love-hate relationship with everything in your craft room. You're like, I want to play with that, but I don't have time right now. I do that all the time. I had to literally remove everything that wasn't paint or brush from this particular area. This area is just for working on what I'm working on right now. Anything that's not paint or brush is in the shed or in the storage unit. And I have to make a conscious decision to go get it. But it's my ADHD brain does not let me come back to what I was working on if I get derailed. So I have to protect myself. It all had to go away. It all had to be moved. It's accessible, but it's not as easily distractible. All right, so we're just gluing all this fabric down. Okay, there we go. Okay. We're on the home stretch of getting it adhered to the actual paper. Right now I'm just getting these little flaps right here glued down. I'm gonna go on top. Okay, we're gonna flip it around. Do the same thing on the other side while those dry. Make sure you press the fabric down into that glue. Really work it in, because it's gonna want to seep into the paper itself. The glue is fighting. Everything's fighting for the attention of the glue. The paper's wanting to draw it in. The fabric's wanting to draw it in, which is a good thing. I mean, I really want everything to be stuck down. But because everything is that we're using right now is absorbent, it's all fighting for that glue's attention. And I'm using matte Mod Podge because I don't want it to be sticky. If you're wondering why she's using matte, not glossy, because we're painters, we typically want everything to be glossy, right? It's because I don't want it to be sticky. And who knows? It may still be sticky when we're all done. But matte typically doesn't have sticky. Matte typically doesn't have like a tacky, sticky tendency once it's dry. Just depends on the formula. Okay. Okay, there we go. Oh, one more side, one more flap. The way I'm hoping this is going to work, like I said, we're just playing around. I'm just piddling over here on some projects that have just been sitting around in the I'll get to it one day pile. Well, today is that one day. I did paint a little bit. I painted here on a few sheets and was like, I don't really feel like painting a full project today because I saw the stack of projects that need to be finished. And I was like, I really got to finish these projects before I add to the unfinished pile. I really want to see this fully dry. That sealer. I know it's going to be pretty. It's going to be different. It's going to be a completely different today. That's the 5th phone call. I told my friends, it's like, I'm going to get a punch card. For all the phone calls that I take during the day that have literally nothing to do with me. Hey, Marie. Oh, so everybody's done testing? Marie was testing a class full of students. Ooh, that coffee hits just right sometimes. When my siblings call, it's literally like they're calling, how do I do this? I need help with this. It's a beautiful thing. I'm not complaining about it. But like at one point, this week has just been an extra thick week of all 5 of my siblings calling me and just needing me to help them adults. But like, it really doesn't involve me. So I was telling my friends, and I was telling Graham, and they said, that's actually a genius idea. I was like, I'm going to make a punch card. Kind of like a loyalty card when you go into like your favorite coffee shop and they're like, let me punch your... Side note, did you know Goodwill had punch cards? Ask about a punch card next time you go in. You get a punch every time you spend like, I think $15. And you get a percentage off when you fill up your card. It's like I think 25% off. I don't remember. But like, I told him, I was like, I'm going to make myself a punch card. This is still a little wet. This is still a little wet, so we're going to blow dry that. I don't want to go any further until everything is dry. Remember, fully dry to reapply. I don't necessarily want anything to still be wet. I want everything to be dry because I want it to be fully evaluated before we move on to the next step. I say step as if I have a plan. I really don't have a plan. We're just winging it here. Hey, Tammy. We're covering my Bible. We're making a Bible cover. Making a Bible cover. Now, this part right here, I don't care what it looks like in the slightest. Not at all. Because no one's ever going to see that. The book is literally going to be touching that at all times. The only part people are going to see is this part. And honestly, nobody should be going in that's like opening someone's journal. Like it is, I do view it like that. Yep. Yeah, I'm going to say it. I do view like pilfering around in someone's Bible the same as like reading someone's diary or journal. Just because it's just so vulnerable sometimes when you write something down. Now, am I saying it's malicious? No.
it. No. But it's kind of vulnerable in there. It's kind of personal. I'm going to say it. Let's see. My mom got me the spiral. I have seen that and I kind of want one, but I kind of want all my notes to be in one spot. So it's like I want it. I want the essence of a spiral bound Bible, but like I love how like this, like I said, this is a newer one to me. Like my old one was just falling apart. And it hurt me to like finally move on to a new one. But like it's finally getting to a point where it's like it's starting to look loved and well used. Like walking in with a brand new Bible when I finally got it, I was like, it's just so new. I like that worn in. Oh, I was going to show y'all while this dries, how I take notes. So like I want the notes, a lot of times, look. That's not a lot of space to write notes. Not for me. I write big. All right. And I don't want to squish I won't be able to read it 10 years from now because it's so tiny. So what I do is I cut up scrapbook paper. I cut up scrapbook paper and I put it in my Bible. Like it's just stuck in my Bible. Usually it's a lot prettier than that. That's my normal. Let me find my pretty stash. I have a stash of, maybe it's in the front. But like, okay, well, that's got notes on it. Okay, so there's my notes, right? And then I write it, and it just adds color to my Bible. Where is my regular note paper? Hold on, this is gonna bother me. Stand by. I know I've got, oh, there it is. So like, let me set this aside. So like, this is just scrapbook paper that I've cut up. And I just stick it in my Bible. And I do this with notebooks. I do this with like my devotionals. I do whenever I'm reading a book and I really want to dive into the book and I want to keep notes. I will do this. That way I'm not writing in the actual book. And they become like bookmarks. Now, if you want this to become permanent in the book, all you do is you take some glue. Just run, I'm not talking, not even a bead. Like you really just want to kind of like barely catch the tiniest little bit of liquid on the edge of this and just stick it in the spine of the page of where you want to add it. They call it tipping in. I've done it in here. I know there's some in Matthew. There's some in Matthew. There's some that need to be done. I know I need to go in Exodus because, right here, like I would run a bead of glue and I just tip it in. That's it. You just do that. And then you run a bead of glue and you just tip it in. I use Post-it notes. Like this becomes like a living, breathing notebook eventually. But it also... it does do some wear and tear on it. So I do that with most books. My mom got me. Okay, so you say she got it for you. Have you started using it yet? Like, how do you like it? The spiral bound one. I did get it's kind of like a Bible in a year, but it's called the Bible Recap. I haven't started it yet, but it is one that I think that I will physically write in. That's one that it's in my TBR. Like I want to do a Bible in a year study, but I don't want to I want there to be a companion. So that I do have the Bible Recap over there and that I do plan to start that. I need to look at it if it's one that I can start any day or if it's like better to start on January 1. Because, some of those reading plans, it is like chronologically year-wise. Like it kind of puts things east, like for Passover, it puts it around Passover, and for Christmas, it has it for Christmas. And so I want to make sure I'm not like getting things out of order.
if it's one of those that like it goes through the physical year, or if it's literally just complete the Bible in 365 days. So I haven't really looked too much. I've missed so much. Hey Heather, we're piddling. We're just piddling. I'm making a Bible cover. Look how pretty. So this was just craft paper. Remember old school, okay? Dig deep into the archives back here, okay? We made paper book covers for our textbooks so we didn't get hit with a fine for destroying the book, okay? Remember that? And then about the time that I was in middle school, they came out with the really like cool, like stretchy fabric book covers, but those were expensive. So I always used paper. I had a couple of those that I got as prizes for reading AR books, but I didn't have a lot because they were expensive. Moppage. Okay. So I'm going to glue this little corner and this together on all 4 sides. Okay. So if you're wondering what I'm doing, that's all I'm doing. It's gonna take some, I should have done that when I glued it down to the flap. But you know, you live and you learn. I just need the edges to really adhere. I don't want this to be flapping in the wind every time I open my book. Okay. There we go. Let that dry. So whenever I fold this over, it won't be like encouraged to flap open. Really trying to saturate. And I have some scrap craft paper underneath just so I don't get all this glue on my actual work surface, because that would be no fun getting up. Think about how awesome that Bible would be as a heirloom to Hayden or Raylyn, can pass down when you're. I have thought about. So there's another thing that I want to do, and Hayden's at an age where I'm like, dang it, I've got so much ground to work. I've got to make up some lost time there. I saw where a mom had a Bible for each kid that she wrote in for that specific kid. It does seem like a lot of work. It does. But I feel like it would be so worth it for them to have their own, basically, like, in the event that something were to happen to me, what would mom's advice be? And like they would literally go to the gift. It's a gift, you know. You would get one a gift Bible or something. You know, there's nothing substantial like this, right? Not a study Bible, but it would literally just be like that had tabs on it that said for when you're anxious, and it would highlight the Bible verse, and then it would have like a handwritten note from me to my kids, but specifically to that particular child, and they don't have to like fight over who gets it, if they're gonna fight at all. Like, that's me being very like optimistic that my kids would even want to fight over anything of mine. It was like, but like, it was just something that I saw that one mom did on TikTok, and I was like, I love that idea. I have a child that's almost 18 though. That's a lot of ground to make up. For you. Thank you. See, I told y'all we were talking about this in the paint studio. We were chatting about, I had this in my scrap pile and I had this in my scrap pile, and I was really hoping they'd pick this because I felt like I bought it, never used it, and now it's being wasted. And they were like, oh, totally use the yellow. We're making a beehive. Totally use the yellow. I was like, oh, I really want to use my floral one. So it was still sitting here on my craft table. I was just about to put it away, and I was like, you know what? No, today is the day. Today is the day you finish that project, Erica. So if y'all if this encourages you to go finish a project, I recommend you listen to that little voice in your head and go do it. Just go do it. You'll thank yourself later, because even if this does not turn out exactly how I envisioned it in my head when I bought the fabric, sometimes done is done, right? Sometimes done is just done. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Heather. I know, I can't wait to see it. And Lauren, I'm still holding on to the idea. I really, and you know what? I might go do that after I'm done. I might go do that just because it is something that I have wanted to do ever since I've seen it done, is to get you know, a small Bible and notate like a prayer in my own voice for that problem in their life, just in the event that something were to happen to me. They'd have that. Like, they would know exactly what I would say. Like, what would mom say if my mom was, like, I have those. Like, I have those moments. Like, I have people in my life that I have lost, and I've always wondered, what would it be like to sit at a coffee table with them, sit on the couch with a cup of coffee, and just pick their, like, what do I do? Like, what would you do if you were me? Or like, what's your advice? Like, stuff like that. And so it really hit hard when I saw that mom recommend, well, she wasn't recommending it. She was just showing, she was basically giving us a Bible tour of the ones that she has done for her kids. But her kids were little. Okay. They were like literally toddlers. So I'm overwhelmed by the amount of, I want, if I were to do it, and I do feel like I am, that I would do it for both kids. And I would have to really focus on Hayden's to make up some lost ground there. All right. Who wants to take bets on how sticky my hands are going to be when we're done with this? Like I said, this is not going to be perfect. But it's going to be so pretty. All right, so far, this is what we've got for the Bible cover. All right. This is what we've got. I do like how the Mod Podge is not changing the color of the fabric. Like, it is literally, like, this is the sealer. So if you see, well, hold on. Let me wet this down a little bit, just to get that Mod Podge to go a little further. This is the part that's going to get the most wear and tear. So I want to make sure it gets nice and coated. I want to make sure it gets nice, and because this is where my hands are going to grab here the most. Like I said, this is gonna get replaced eventually. This is not a permanent solution. So I don't have to worry about, oh, but what if I don't like this fabric 5 years from now? I promise you I'm probably going to change this before 5 years, okay? Probably got to make a new one. Oh, I love it. Okay, we're going to let that dry. I really saturated this flap, okay? Really saturated it. Okay. Hold up. There's string. It's going to get in my way. It's going to frustrate me. There we go. Some of my best core memories are of walking by my grandparents and seeing them reading the Bible at the table. It is like, it says so much without saying a word at all, right? Like, there's something that I learned a long time ago, testifying as far, like, as a witness or something. You can say a whole lot without saying a word. You can say a whole lot without saying a word. And sometimes those moments are some of the most beautiful memories that you have because they didn't say a word. Like, actions speak louder than words. That is the personification of what that means, right? Like, it is, and it's something that you get to keep nobody can ever take that away from you. That memory is yours, right? And there's just something about handwritten. I have been chasing down my dad's handwriting what seems like 2 years now. I've been and I finally have what I'm looking for. It's taken me about 2 years to get it. I have been chasing down my biological dad's handwriting for a specific reason. If you can't tell, I like tattoos. But I wanted to get, for the last 2 years, I have wanted to get I wanted to get my maiden name in my dad's handwriting. Well, my dad was 23 when he passed. And from the stories that were told, my dad was not the most, he wasn't the best at attendance when it came to school. So it's not like I have like old school records or anything to fall back on. So, I have been in search of trying to find something where he signed his name. Well, the man never liked to write his name, ever. If he ever wrote his name, it was just Doug. That was it. He just wrote his first name. And so I have finally gotten something where he signed his full government name. Just a couple nights ago, I finally bit the bullet. I had to pay for it. So I got online, I paid the fee. I was hoping I could just get it done without having to pay for it. But now it's done. Done is done. Remember, done is done. And I got the copy of it. And now I can make my appointment to have Smith written in right here. That's where I want to put it. I want to put Smith where I can read it in my tattoo. I did have a backup plan. My uncle wrote Smith for me in his handwriting. In the event that I could not find one with my dad's handwriting. And my grandmother, my mama, it's like Heather was saying, what a beautiful memory I have of my grandparents sitting down just reading their Bible. That's my person, is like, I have so many, now thankful she's still alive. I can still make some more, but I do have those of her just sitting, reading in general. My love of books stem from so many things, but one is knowing that like it's something that she and I share. Not necessarily together, but I know that like it's something that she loves to do. I love to do it. We do have, in a way, similar taste in books. We do. I've gone through her book stash before when she has purged some of her books. She has taught me this really cute little way of keeping up with the physical book that she's read, because she's like me. She thrifts her books. She does not buy them firsthand. She buys them at garage sales. She'll go to a thrift bookstore. A lot of them are just given to her by friends. So when she finishes a book, she writes her initials in the publisher page, or the very first page. She'll write her initials in the top corner. And that way, if she ever, and she has come across books that she's read that she has passed along, and they have somehow made it to another garage sale or a thrift bookstore. And so whenever I go to a bookstore or a garage sale that's within our area, I do go to that first page of some of the books of, especially an author that I know she likes. I was like, oh, let me see if this is one of Mama's books. I know, I'm so excited. I'm so happy that I got it too. Now, when I get that tattoo, I don't know. It's a tiny one, so I'm not rushing to get it, but it's like probably one of my most meaningful ones that I want. I love my maiden name. I also have one in my grandmother's handwriting that I want. I already had the handwriting, but like, so I think I'll get them at the same time. There's also a quote I want to put right there, and it's from one of my favorite movies growing up. It has nothing to do with the Bible, but it, like, when I hear it, all I hear is like a foundational pillar for me, and it's from the Labyrinth, and it's from a song, but like it resonates with me as a Christian sometimes when I hear it. The song has nothing to do with it. It's the lyric itself, and it says, "It's only forever. It's not long at all." And it to me, like in the song, it means one thing, but that lyric sticks out every single time I hear it. And it's only forever. It's not long at all. And that's it. Like when I hear it, I think of it as a double meaning. Like this life itself, to us, when we're living it, it feels like we've been here for so long on this earth. We're living for so long. It feels like forever. But if you look at it in retrospect, it is a blink of an eye in the history of the universe, right? So like it's only forever, but it's not long at all. Like we get on average, okay? Just remember, we just talked about my dad passing at 23. So like on average, not everybody is granted this much, but on average, we get about 75 to 80 years, right? I don't know what the new average lifespan of an American is, but I'm going to say American because we don't live the healthiest compared to the rest of the... There we go. There's our Bible cover. We're not completely done with it. If it feels cold, it's still wet. But it's only forever, not long at all. As a Christian, to me, that lyric, that quote, I'm not going to call it the quote, is once we're done with this life and we move on to what was intended for us, it is forever, and it is not going to seem like long at all. Like it will be a literal forever, and it's gonna feel so brand new, right? Like, so like that line just resonates with me so much on so many different levels. Plus it comes from my favorite movie. Like it comes from one of my favorite movies. I love The Labyrinth, and I love that quote, right? I love it. And if I never have the actual tattoo done, like I have this spot reserved just for that, for when I do, if I ever do, it's going to be posted somewhere in this house to where I look at it and it reminds me of like when I'm having a hard day. Look, this is feeling like it's dragging on forever, but it's really not that long. It's not long at all. Or like, hey, life is short. It's so short. It was like, I know this seems like it is, like we got all the time in the world, but it is so short. Okay, I'm giving this a good dry because I really want to see it on my Bible. Okay, so I want to make sure I'm not gluing these flaps down, but if I do, it's just paper. It'll peel up. All right, so I want these to be nice, free and clear. I showed y'all the scrap paper that I like to use in my Bible. The thing about keeping it physical, like just chunks of it in the actual physical book, it warps the book and it puts stress on the spine. So now I'll be able to, like this right here will be like a folder. I can just stick it in here and grab what I need. We're so close. I do think that, I don't think I have enough to do it right now, but I do want to put like a full layer of Mod Podge on top of this just to seal it in. I'm not too terribly worried about it right now. Remember, done is done sometimes. I do want to put, ooh, you know what would be pretty? I don't think I have any right here. Some lace. like just to put some lace right here on the inside, just to hide the raw edge of this. I'm looking around to see if I have any just like readily available. Let's see, do I? I know I have lace, but it's probably going to be with the rest of my ribbon in the shed. Well, shucks. That's cool. I do have this. That's what made me think about it. But this would not be, no, that's not the look I'm going for. All right, I think this is good. Everything seems real dry. Nothing seems super tacky. Okay. I say that. I see that. And then this sticks. Okay. I think that's going to be fine. Okay. I think what I'm going to do. All right, let's see how functional it is. I'm going to take, just out of precaution, some scrap paper. You know what? I could just take bulletins. I think the bulletins are too big. I'm going to take some scrap paper and just, see, I just used scrapbook paper and I just cut it down. See, look. I don't know. Just things that I think look pretty. Let's see. Like that. This all came from one paper pack. Like it's just stuff that I've had in my, this is sometimes, and I take hymnal pages. This is not a hymnal page, this is scrapbook paper. But I do take hymnal pages and I will stick them in as note paper too. Okay. So here it is. Okay. I made those tassels. And then I added a bead to the bottom of one of them. And I have a crown that I want to add to another one of my tassels. It's a bead. We just finished the Book of Esther as a Bible study. Come on, get in there. That's when you know you're good. Like your skills are still solid from making paper book covers. When that book cover is like a perfect fit. It's a perfect fit. All right, so we're gonna go in like this. And then we're gonna take the back cover, slide it into that flap. Look at that. Now, is it perfect? No. Are there raw edges? Yes. If anybody judges me, I'm like, back up. Nobody asked for your opinion. Does it bring me joy? Oh my gosh, 100% yes. Oh, it makes me so happy. Now, I am not going to let this just dry like this right now because it is still slightly damp. Slightly damp. I don't want it to like really stick to the actual book. Ooh. So we're going to set this aside. I'll take that scrap paper out because that was just so it wouldn't stick to the... But once the book's in there, right, I no longer have to store my scrap paper randomly. Y'all saw how hard it was. I was like, where's my paper? I can just slide it right there. And just slide it right there. And I have two different sizes. So I can slide it right there. And then I can put my bigger in the back. Voila. I didn't want a case. I don't want a zipper. I'm an aggressive zipper-er, okay? I used to have one of those bundle cases that have a zipper and a pin holder and all that jazz. I'm too aggressive with a zipper, so I can't be trusted in actual service in big church when it's supposed to be quiet and distraction-free. I cannot be trusted with a zipper. Can't. Plus, I'll put candy in there, okay? Ask me how I know. There's a little experience here. I'll put candy in there. And so now every time I open it up, if it has plastic wrapper, like my peppermints that I like to have, all you hear is crinkle, crinkle, zzz, crinkle, crinkle. Okay. I have also left chocolate because the zipper holds it all in there and I'll forget. And then I'll leave my Bible in the car for lunch. And then when I get back to the house and I put it away, now it's cool. I'm just saying, zippers and a Bible cover are just, they're dangerous, okay? So I knew I couldn't be trusted with a zipper, so I knew I needed to make a cover. And I just didn't like the options for like Bible covers that I saw online. I just didn't like the options. And when I saw this fabric, I was like, oh, I can make mine. And then it sat. So I'm just going to let this sit here for a couple of hours, okay? I'm not gonna do anything with it. I'm just gonna let it sit here for a couple of hours. I'm gonna let everything, and I'm probably gonna prop this up. Hold on. I'm gonna take a bottle, a paint bottle. I'm just gonna prop those open so that they don't stick together. So, alrighty, if you enjoyed making this with me, just sitting and crafting, having a little coffee chat, just know that I enjoyed it too. I enjoyed your company. Thank you for hanging out with me while I figured it out, because I winged it. Winged it. Louisiana education. I'm sorry for you. All right. Well, until next time, I'll talk to you later. Bye.